And in a lot of my videos, I talk about what not to do. And in fairness, a lot of times what not to do really does make you more attractive, right? A lot of times the mistakes guys make is what devalues them in the eyes of a woman. But a lot of guys ask me, well, what can I do? What can I do to become more attractive outside of going to the gym and getting my grooming and my looks in order? Because that is important. Anybody tells you that looks aren't important is lying to you, but they're not nearly as important as you think. The qualities that we're going to talk about in this video, the 5 qualities, are actually just as important, if not more important, especially if you're a good looking guy. Because if you don't have the qualities we're going to talk about, women still are not going to put a lot of value on you. It's still going to be really hard to maintain the attraction that you might have sparked based on your looks or the fact that you're a funny guy. If these other things aren't there, that attraction won't last. So, what are the qualities? Like I said, these are little known qualities. These are things you probably don't think about on a day to day basis. But when you begin to implement them in your life, you'll notice that you become a lot more attractive to women. So, let's get into the first one. The first one is the quality of autonomy. Autonomy. Autonomous. What is autonomous? Are you familiar with the word? If not, I will explain it to you. It is the act of being self-governing. It's having an objective reality that isn't influenced by your desires. It's being a man that has a clear destination, and everything going on around you is just secondary to where you're going in life. And when a woman spots this kind of guy, it's really, really attractive to her. And he becomes the guy that she wants to chase. She wants to tame. She wants to win over. And the harder you are to win over, the harder you are to get your attention, the more attractive you are. This is why a lot of times guys who are really focused on something, guys that are in, for me, for instance, when I was building my business 10 years ago, that's all I was thinking about. I was learning all the skills I needed to build an online business and quit my job. And all the women that I was meeting at that time was sort of secondary. And they picked up on this. And we had good times. I treated them well. We went out. But they always knew that my attention was on my destination, on my goal. And they were continually fighting for that. And I even had a woman once say to me when I was telling her, right now is not a good time for me because I really have to give my business all my attention. And she said, and that's what I love about you. That's what's most attractive about you. And I didn't really realize it at the time. At the time I was really just doing it because I wanted to move forward in my goals. Having goals is important because it makes you a man willing to walk away. We talk about in some of my other videos how guys chase a loss, how they continually go after a woman even after it's clear that she's not the right woman for them. And a lot of times it's because they have nothing going on in their lives. They don't have a destination. They don't have a goal. So the woman becomes their goal. And here's the truth. A woman never wants to be your only goal. She wants to join your ride. She wants to go aboard your train, right? You got to be going somewhere, and she wants to either get on it. And if she's not willing to get on it, you have to be willing to keep going. That makes you attractive. Being autonomous means not letting other people's opinions dictate your behavior, not letting what a woman wants stop you from going after what you want. And it may seem counterintuitive at first. You may think, well, doesn't a woman want my attention? She wants it, but she wants to earn it. She wants to fight for it. She wants to win you over. If it comes too easily, then it means you didn't really have anything going on in your life. And what woman wants a guy who doesn't really have much going on in his life? So autonomy is the first. The second is boundaries. And what I talk about with boundaries is personal boundaries. Personal boundaries means what you expect from other people and what you're willing to tolerate. And a big problem that nice guys have, and we always talk bad about nice guys and say how nice guys finish last or nice guys don't get the girl. And a lot of the reason is because nice guys don't really have personal boundaries. I notice this all the time with my clients where, we talked about in other videos where a woman is treating them bad and they're tolerating it. They're not willing to walk away. They don't have that autonomy. And when somebody starts treating you bad and they see they can get away with it, whether it's something as simple as showing up continuously late for a date. If a woman can show up late continuously and you don't say anything and you just deal with it, the respect and attraction she has to you will diminish. So that's what you're willing to tolerate. It's also what you expect. So I'll give you an example. I hate if I'm driving with somebody and I'm the one driving and they're on their phone the whole time. Whether it's a friend, whether it's my girl, no matter who it is, right? I hate that. And same thing, if I'm at a restaurant, if somebody's on their phone when we're together, I find it incredibly rude. So what happens is a lot of guys may also have this. They may not like that. They don't want a woman who's texting while they're driving, but they won't say that. They're scared that if they tell her, "Hey, we're hanging out. What are you doing on your phone? Like you want to be here with me or you want to talk on your phone?" Now, how you actually go about communicating it, that's up to you, right? You can do it mean, you can do it nice, you can do it joking, but the point is you have to communicate it if that is something that is important to you. Little things like that. We call them tests in a way. A lot of times when a woman is texting, when she's with you or she's, on checking her email when you guys are talking to each other, that's sort of a test. Will you tolerate that? Do you have boundaries? Or can she just keep infringing on your boundaries and you're just going to sit there because you're so happy to be with her that you're willing to tolerate anything? Another example is my friend Christian. He used to always do this. I used to thought it was great, is that anybody that came over to his house, when they walked in the house, he would say, "Shoes off at the door." And they would take their shoes off. What would a lot of guys do? What would the common nice guy do if a girl was coming to his house? And that was his rule. He'd look at her shoes and he'd want to say shoes off at the door, but then he'd think, if I say that, she won't like me. That'll come across as pushy and he's afraid to do it. But the reality is it's actually the opposite. By showing that you have boundaries, willing to say to a woman, "Hey, shoes off at the door," you're showing that you place a high value on yourself. And that's attractive, right? Those sort of behaviors, having boundaries, being willing to stand up for yourself, being willing to tell someone that you won't tolerate their behavior, that is attractive. The next quality that we are going to talk about relates to that, and that is having high standards. And if you notice, a lot of these play into each other. But having high standards is important. And a lot of people, when I tell somebody to dress better, a lot of guys, I feel like it's a cop out, first of all. And I was this way for a long time. I would prefer to wear sweatpants and a gym shirt and all the time. And when I go out, I prefer not to have to think about what I'm wearing. But what I realized is that you can almost identify a guy who's confident by the clothes he's wearing. Because a guy who values himself, who has high standards, puts effort into what he's wearing. He spends money on what he's wearing because it signals to a woman, it signals to other people, right? If he's in the business world, dressing well signals that you see yourself as a high value guy. And when you see yourself and present yourself as a high value guy, other people begin to see you that way as well. And dressing better is one example of having high standards. Other examples is the type of job you have. If you hate your job, if you complain about your job, if you're bored by your job, but you continually do it, and people say, "Well, why are you why are you still at that job?" And you're like, "Well, the job market's really bad, or the benefits are good." If you've got some excuse while you're at a job that you hate, what does a woman think? She thinks this guy is willing to settle. He's willing to settle for a shitty job. He's willing to settle for crappy clothes. He's willing to settle for a car that he doesn't really like. Well, what does that say to her? He's willing to settle with women. And no woman wants to be with a guy who's willing to settle. We've established that in plenty of my videos. They want to be with a guy that has high standards with women, who they have to chase, who they have to win over. So when she sees that you have these high standards in all areas of your life, if she comes to your house and she sees that you've decorated it well with taste, even if it's your taste, it has to, and fashion is the same way. When I talk about fashion, it has to be your fashion. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to look like a GQ model, but you have to put effort into what you're doing. You have to put in your relationships. If you have friends that you don't like, that you think are losers, but you're hanging out with them anyway, what does it tell her? You're willing to settle. And like we've established, a woman doesn't want to be with a guy who's willing to settle. They want to be with a guy who has high standards. What is the next quality? The next quality is strong opinions. Strong opinions also demonstrate confidence. And in a lot of ways, when women say, I want a confident guy, this is what they mean. People don't understand confidence. They think that it's this mythical thing. But in reality, confidence is just a combination of what we're talking about here. And women say, I want a guy who displays confidence. And people say, what does that mean? Well, does it mean being, a lot of people think, well, confidence means you can approach a woman without fear. That's not really confidence. That you can trick yourself into approaching a woman without fear, and she'll pick up on it pretty quickly. She may go, oh, this guy's pretty confident to talk to me like this. But the minute she starts interacting with you, that diminishes. She realizes, it was just an act. This signifies real confidence. So we're talking about strong opinions. And strong opinions means that you don't back down in the face of a differing opinion. A lot of nice guys do this, where they'll be talking to a woman and she'll say something. And maybe it's something like she'll be complaining about her friend in a situation, and he'll see that her friend was actually right in the situation. But he'll just take her side and she'll say, what do you think? And he'll be so scared to give his opinion that he'll say, yeah, I totally see what you mean. Your friend was wrong. Whereas just being able to say, hey, call her on her bullshit. Tell her, I think in that situation, you were wrong. She's going to respect you more for it. It could be in terms of what you enjoy, what kind of music you like, what kind of movies you like. A lot of people, a lot of guys, and even a lot of women, they're afraid to admit they like something until they know the other person likes it. So we do this all the time when we go to the movies, where we go see a movie and we come out of the movie theaters and we go, what did you think about it? And we don't really want to say how much we liked it until we get confirmation that they liked it too. Or if we hated it, we don't want to say we hated it because if they liked it, we're scared. Whereas the confident, attractive way of being is to just express your opinion freely. Now, Rob Judge and I, we talk about it. Rob's the master of this, and he goes go even further and develop strong opinions as a way to attract women. And it can be strong opinions on literally anything. He gives an example all the time. One of his favorite things to do is debate with women who the best character was in Beauty and the Beast. And he's got a strong opinion on why one of the characters is the best. And you can really do this with anything, is learn to express how you feel about something openly and honestly without worrying what they think. When you express strong opinions, it comes across as self-confident, as attractive, and as the type of man that a woman wants to be with. So the next quality is fun. And you might be going, duh, yeah, of course, fun. But a lot of guys don't realize what actually is fun. Now, is flirting and teasing fun? Yeah. And that's one of the first things that a lot of nice guys get good at. A lot of nice guys realize, oh, I have to flirt. And they start teasing her and being this playful guy. And they still wind up in the friend zone. And they go, well, I heard that I have to flirt with a woman. I heard that I have to tease her and be playful. Well, why doesn't it work? Because there's an element of fun that nice guys really, really miss out on. And if you think about fun in the sense of everything we do, what is a quality of fun that makes things fun? One of the biggest qualities is uncertainty, not knowing the outcome. When we watch a football game, what makes the football game fun? We don't know what team's going to win. Our team could lose. So we're invested in it because we don't know the outcome. Is a game as fun to watch when it's the next day and you've already heard that your team won or your team lost? A lot of times we don't even watch it. It's no longer fun because we know the outcome. And fun is also risk, right? If you're talking to somebody and they're staying within the boundaries of acceptable conversation and they're talking about PG topics and they're being extremely politically correct, Are they as fun to talk to as the person who just says what's on their mind, who takes conversational risks? They're not. And this is one of the reasons why quote unquote jerks do really well with women, why nice guys struggle, is nice guys conform to the expectation of a woman. They think, well, she wants me to be gentlemanly. She wants me to be this romantic, nice, chivalrous guy. And then they think, well, what does that guy do? Well, he's never going to say anything remotely sexual because that would be crude. And he's not gonna make any offensive jokes, and he's not gonna do this, and he's not gonna do that. And what happens? You come across as boring because human beings are attracted to the element that is a little surprising, a little uncertain. Same thing when you're dating a woman. Nice guys, when they date a woman, they are, I always say it, they're like the movie where the woman already knows the ending. She meets you, she dates you, you hang out, you hit it off, but there's no fun there for her because she knows that, all right, it's the second date. He hasn't kissed me yet. He's probably going to try to kiss me on the third date because that's his rule. And then the third date comes and you walk her to the door and you kiss her and she's like, all right, that's exactly what I expected. And then she gets home and she pulls out her phone and she's got a text from you saying, had a great night. Like, that's not fun because that's like knowing the movie in advance. And once you saw that movie, and trust me, a beautiful woman has seen that movie millions of times with every guy that she's ever been with, he repeats that. So then a jerk comes along, and on the first date, he tries to kiss her, right? And then at the end of the day, she doesn't get the text from him. And now she's like, this is fun. This is engaging. We engage in things more when we don't know the outcome. We invest more in things where we're not sure. It gets our attention. So that's what makes jerks more fun. Nice guys don't realize this. They always wonder, why do women chase jerks? And a lot of the reasons is, well, A, jerks tend to have these things. They tend to have strong opinions, high standards, boundaries, autonomy, but they're also a lot more fun. They also provide a woman these qualities that make things, not knowing the outcome. She doesn't know the outcome with these guys. She goes, is this guy, my girl said this to me early on after I learned this, after I kind of got out of my nice guy behavior. A couple months into our relationship, she said to me, I was so confused with you because I didn't know if you were just playing me. I liked you, but I never wanted to open up to you because part of me thought that you were going to walk away at any time or that you were just trying to have sex with me. Like, I didn't know. Now, that wasn't the case with me. I was falling for her, but I was also fun. And that fun kept her around and turned her into my girlfriend. And a lot of nice guys are afraid to give women that fun. They're afraid to give them that uncertainty. They want the woman to know right away, I'm the one for you. But that takes away an element that makes the relationship interesting.